Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. Over the course of 2020, I hope to fill in a few blind spots, a few gaps, either important watches or important watch brands that for one reason or another I haven't been able to get my hands on up until now. And today I believe I am plugging one of those gaps. My first review of an NTH, and not just a review. One of you lucky punters is going to win yourself a brand new NTH Nazario worth $675 US, making this one of the most valuable giveaways that I've done on the channel to date. Now, free stuff equals sponsored video. Today's video is sponsored by NTH and Watchgauge. Watchgauge are NTH's USA retailer. I'll talk a little bit about that later on. Indeed, the NTH Nazario is a Watchgauge exclusive. You can only buy it through them. Big shout out to both companies for their generosity today. Now, I've been keen to get my hands on an NTH for a number of different reasons. They're a relatively young company, only formed in 2016, and yet the brand and owner Chris Vale have got a big presence in the community. Also, I believe there's a bit of a micro brand glass ceiling at $500 US. A lot of companies just won't go above that price. NTH, on the other hand, all of their watches sit above that $500 US price point, including this one at $675. I'm keen to see exactly what sets them apart, exactly what you get for your money. Anyway, I know what you're thinking. Just tell me how I can win the watch, Jody. Well, what do you need to do? You need to be a subscriber of the channel. It's a subscriber giveaway, so if you haven't done so already, please hit that big subscribe button. Secondly, I wouldn't mind a like, so please hit the like button as well. And thirdly, if I told you what else you had to do, you wouldn't watch the rest of the video, would you? Let's flip the camera and get on with the review. Alright, let's get on with the review. So NTH and Watchgauge sent me two of these for review. What I decided to do was I only sized one of them up. So I sized up the white dialed model. They call this the Nazario Sauro, and I've been wearing it over the last couple of weeks. That's the watch I was wearing in the intro of the video. That means that there is one of these lovely deep blue dialed ones still in its packaging, all stickers still on, box fresh for one of you lucky punters out there to win. I'll obviously show you both over the course of the video, but I'm going to keep this one as minty fresh as possible. And as I'm sure you saw, the attention to detail starts with the packaging. Looks like a kind of cigar case. I'm not a big cigar smoker myself, but that's what it reminds me of. Kind of velvet lined. You can keep the watch and various parts and accessories in there. You also get this. They don't issue a warranty card. This is just a kind of warranty reminder, and it's sticky back. You can stick it on your fridge or something if you should need it at a later point. So NTH produce a range of different model variants. This one is the Nazario as discussed, all under the same umbrella, that being the sub range. So all have the same case shape, all have the same bracelet, all have the same basic dimensions and specifications. The differences across the range are the dial, the hands, the bezel insert, etc. So those dimensions are 40mm in diameter, 47.5mm lug tip to lug tip with drilled vintage style arch down lugs. Great if you are a guy who likes to swap the bracelet out for straps on a regular basis. I think the key dimension with this one though is the thickness or lack thereof. 11.5mm thick. I actually measure a little smaller than that at 11.3mm on my calipers. Now, 300m rated, screw down crown dive watch. I cannot remember another 300m rated watch as slim as this one. All of these sub-range feature the Miyota 9000 series movement. The 9000 series has got a very short pinion stack. It's a very slim movement, but not a lot of manufacturers take full advantage. I've reviewed a bunch of 9000 power dive watches with thicknesses of 13, 14, 15mm, even bigger than that. So great to see one really slim like this, less than 11.5. 20mm lug width, tapering down to 18 at the clasp, back up to 20 plus, and sized up for me, 7-inch wrist. This one weighs in at 140 grams, so a little bit lighter, a little bit slimmer, very, very comfortable as an all-day wear watch, this one, as I have found out over the last couple of weeks. So 316L stainless steel case, crown, bezel, and full stainless steel bracelet. We've got solid end links, solid links with screw pins, and a fantastic clasp. You know I'm a stickler for a good clasp. This is pretty much optimum as far as I'm concerned. NTH logo etched there on the fold over, double security pushers, it's a mill clasp, nice beveled edge, 6 micro adjust, job is a good one. And that super slim 11.5mm profile comes despite the fact that we actually have a piece of double domed sapphire crystal with anti-reflective undercoating, just the merest dome there, nicely integrating with the bezel insert. Talking of bezels, 120 click unidirectional rotating dive time. It sounds great, it feels great, everything lines up nicely, no backplay, no bounce. And the case finishing is very, very nice indeed, as you can see there. Super fine horizontal brush on the mid case, lovely polished chamfered edge that extends all the way down to the tip of the lugs, transitioning back to a brush finish on the lug, brush finish on the bracelet, and check the machining on the bezel, very, very nice indeed. Unguarded vintage style crown with the NTH logo, which is also loomed. I'll show you that a bit later on. Now, zoomed in on the dial for a close-up, before we go any further, let's just talk about this dial for a moment because there is quite a lot going on. The Nazario, I think, is the most styled up of all of the sub-range. You have got a California dial, so Romans at the top, Arabics at the bottom. We have got cathedral hands, which are blued if you hadn't already spotted under my studio lights. We've got a gold second hand, a needle second hand, and we've got that stainless steel bezel insert, which is filled with Loom and various colours of paint, little splashes of red here and there with the logo as well. Now, this is going to be a little bit full on for some people. I often talk about watches being styled to 11 out of 10 like Spinal Tap's amplifiers. I reckon the Nazario Sauro is probably a 13.5 or a 14. If you like the watch but this is a bit too full on for you, there are plenty of more discreet models, shall we say, in the sub range. I've been wearing this one over the last couple of weeks though, and I must admit it has grown on me. I do like a California dial, and the Loom on this watch is absolutely mental. I'll pop up the Loom shot there, a fully Loom dial and heaps of Loom in the bezel insert particularly, and in the handset as well, obviously. I took this watch over to Melbourne with me last weekend and went to see the Harry Potter show that's on there. This watch was glowing brighter than Harry Potter's wand for most of the performance. In contrast to the dial and hands on this one, the case back is a little bit more utilitarian. Screw down, 300 meters as mentioned, all stainless steel, just with the NTH logo, 316L stainless steel, automatic and sapphire crystal. Now the movement contained within, I already said, was a Miyota 9000 series. If you opt for a date variant, you get the 9015. If you go for a no date like this one, you get the 9039. So no ghost position, it's the proper no date movement. Now, I've already shown you the clasp, I should probably show you the rest of the bracelet as well. Very nice, very small, very smooth little links and super articulated. An articulated bracelet equals comfort. Now, the mid-link of the end link does protrude, but because of the articulation of these links, it drops straight away and conforms to the wrist, as you will see in just a second. And there you are, I've got a 7-inch wrist for your reference. As I said, I've been wearing this one out and about over the last couple of weeks and I've found it to be very, very comfortable indeed. Great clasp, nice balance, nice proportion to it. Those vintage lugs do curve down immediately conforming to the wrist. No protrusion of the case back, it sits nice and flat, nice and flush, taking full advantage of that 11.5mm thickness. One thing I have noted though, and it will feature in the moans and niggles section later on, is that the cathedral handset, particularly the hour hand, perhaps just a little bit small. They do tend to get slightly lost on the dial because of the prominence of those California Romans and Arabics. Still pretty legible though, inside and out. Indeed, there it is outside, and perhaps you can see what I mean about the blued hour and minute hands and that gold second hand glinting away there quite nicely. Now this Sauro model obviously has a white dial, very prominent Arabics and Romans as noted, but as I said, there are plenty of other versions of this watch, all with the same basic dimensions and specifications. And that's it on wrist outside, very slim profile, fits me nicely. Yes, just get on with the giveaway, Jody. Well, this is a review and that means there will be moans and there will be niggles. I've already talked about the styling of this model being particularly full on. If the California dial is not your cup of tea, there are plenty of other model variants. And as I mentioned, I think the hour hand, the cathedral hand, could be a little bit larger. It does get slightly lost because there is just so much going on the dial. And if it was a little bit broader, had a bit more real estate, it would give it a bit more presence as a consequence. And then there's the price. $675, as I intimated in the intro, I think puts NTH into a different category, sitting above that glass ceiling at $500 that a lot of micro brands try and avoid quite deliberately. What do you get for your $675 then? Well, I think you get not necessarily a spec monster. There are a lot of watches that I've reviewed with specs similar to this one, costing less than $400 US, let's be brutally honest. I think, however, you get a very well designed watch, full of nice little details, from the mega articulated bracelet, the fantastic clasp, lovely finishing on the case, and it wears very comfortably indeed. You also get the support of NTH's distributor network. For a micro brand, they've gone a slightly different route. Rather than shipping direct, they're selling through retailers. That means that if you happen to live next to a bricks and mortar store that stocks these things, you can go in and try them on before you buy, something you can't do with micro brands. There's also a pretty good warranty arrangement with these ones, which again suggests that you do pay a little bit more up front, but that comes back to you in the long run. So how do you win this delightful blue dialed variant as shown in the macro shots on screen now? Well, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and click the link in the description. This will take you to a Watchgauge landing page where they will ask you for your name and your email address. Submit the form and you will go into the prize pool to win this watch. Now Watchgauge are going to pick the winner in 2 weeks time. They'll give me the name and I'll announce it in a double unboxing video. You have Watchgauge's assurance that they will not sell your email address to a third party, but you might get the occasional marketing email from them. That doesn't sound too taxing at all to give you the chance to win a $675 watch, does it? So what do I think of the NTH Nazario overall then, my first experience of the brand? Well, I think you're getting a very nicely manufactured, very well thought out watch with some cracking details. $675 is not necessarily cheap, as discussed. On specs alone, there are plenty of cheaper watches out there that match this one for specs. But I think you're buying into a bit of that NTH brand as well, and they do have a very strong brand presence, especially in the micro brand community. So there you have it, the NTH Nazario. One of you lucky punters is going to be winning that blue one for nothing, zero, zilch, nada. And I think they're getting a fantastic watch. Well thought out, well manufactured, well machined, super accurate Miyota 9000. One of the slimmest watches that I've encountered with that dive rating. One of the few watches that I've seen that properly takes advantage of the short pinion stack of the Miyota 9000. Now the styling is 13.5 out of 10 as discussed. Not everyone is going to be comfortable with cathedral hands, California dial, etc, etc. As I said though, there are plenty of other NTH subs that don't have that look. If you like the case shape and the dimensions but want something not quite as full on, there are plenty of options out there for you. I've thoroughly enjoyed my first NTH, I hope it's not my last. Thanks for watching, I'll see you soon.